being recorded. Just like to open this meeting and thank Irene, who's our Central Mass Recycling Coordinator for DEP. And this is really just an exploratory meeting to throw all kinds of thoughts, questions, and facts on the table as we look at, I'm going to say, evolving our transfer station and our trash disposal. We've been doing it fundamentally the same way for 40 years, and now that we have Stan at the transfer station, somebody who can give us good feedback about what happens down there, I just felt it was time that we really do a deep dive and explore the pay-as-you-throw. Primary reason, I know from the DEP standpoint, it's about reducing waste and increasing recycling. In this community, my primary reason, not to belittle those other reasons, is equity for our residents. And we definitely see some inequity. We know that there are some people that don't follow all the rules. You know, they bring multiple household trash in one load, and we're only receiving money for one sticker. So we're trying to look at if we're able to level that out a little bit.
Hey, Don.
Hi, Donna.
We just got going.
Irene, this is Donna Trailer.
This is our secretary.
She's our admin.
Administrator, yeah.
So with that being said, I guess I would put it to you, Irene, if you wanted to give us...
Yeah, give you some options. One thing to make, you did get a grant this past year. It came in December, so I want to make sure that gets on the list right away. I don't think it's been signed yet. It came December 17th. So I know it's a small check. I want to say it's $1,400. So at least a little something. That's from RDP.
Hey, we'll take it.
I know. And but that needs to be signed. Okay, so and I should be able to tell you who can sign it. It's normally the town administrator or it's you who put it on the. We do every few years. You did the master service agreement, and you put on the bottom who can sign.
Okay, yeah.
And I don't remember if you said you could sign, or if you said the town administrator could sign, or
one of us. We'll have both of us sign as soon as we find the letter.
Okay, I can email it again to you.
I'm not sure, but I may have signed the grant for the mattress container, but I don't remember. That was 2-3 years ago.
Okay, now this is the one that just came out December 2024.
Terrific.
And so now we're planning for the next grant, and we have a few things that have to prerequisites that need to be done before February. So February 15th, we need the person to go on to retrack.
Yep.
And to make sure the data is correct. So you gave me some data, and so that's what I'm trying to make sure I have the right numbers for here. But I'm trying to use just 12 months for the model, and then you guys just need 2024, calendar year 2024 is the data that we're looking for the grant. The other thing is if you I think they'll ask you if you spent any money, but you just got the money. You haven't actually signed the money to have it thing.
Right.
So there's a recycling dividend spending report, and you just say, no, I haven't spent it because I haven't gotten it yet. So
Is that what the 1,400 is for?
yeah, so we kind of just ask you, because this is an interesting grant. Most other grants, you apply like for mattress thing is, and then you get the receipt and then we pay you back. This is a dividend program. We ask you, did you do these things? You said, yes, we did them. We consider them to be the best practices. And so we want you to continue to them. So because you've already done them, we give you money right away.
Great.
And the money comes from a separate trust. It does not come from taxes. It is a legislative Wall Street, if you say, of the waste to energy facility. So Wheelabrator plays a part with this, and Casella, and they make money off of this Wall Street of energy, and their profits half of it has to go to Mass DP to go back to the communities. So it's just an outside thing of, yes, you can play in the Wall Street, and the towns get the money.
That's
Now,
good.
because I won't be here next year,
Mhm.
next year when we do
She says
retrack,
We need a new username and password.
well, yeah, but write that down.
I can easily do it. You can just tell me who you want it to be, and we can update that. If you want it to be her now, we could do that. If you
Yeah.
want it, because I think your email is generic, right? And which that
Yeah.
also helps if it's just the generic Board of Health
Yeah.
email. So we can do that.
But what I was gonna ask is next year when we do the RDP, then we go back and explain how we spent that $1,400 we're gonna get?
So, but next February, so not, you didn't get the money yet.
Yeah.
So February 2026, we'll just say, what'd you spend the money on?
Okay.
And you'll be like, I just used it for education, I used it at the transfer station for signs, I used it for
Yep.
bags. If you went pay as you throw, you could use it for all
Well,
different
see,
stuff.
sometimes that's why I hate when, I don't lie on those retrack reports. I don't think we did that. Because it's a lot of work having to track how you spend
It
what
has
the
to be
state-
the money, and that's what we have to do is when you first sign, because this is, I think, your first time getting the money, or it's been a while.
Yeah, probably first with
So
this
it needs to
grant.
make sure it's in a dedicated account.
I think we've had this before, because
Sydney.
when we got the mattress grant, we used additional funds to cover it.
Yeah,
And
and
I
the
know-
mattress grant is a separate one. That
Right.
is a
Okay.
reimbursement.
Right.
The RDP is
Right.
not.
I don't
But
think
we
got
didn't
that.
have enough for it, so I
It
think
ne-
we used the rest of it.
It
for
needs
that.
to be held in a dedicated
Yeah.
account?
Yeah, so that's from the town administrator for the board,
Yeah.
select board, or town treasurer
I
would
think
give
see
you
it.
that.
Yeah, we
It's a
have it.
grant,
We have it
because you
set
can
up.
hold on to it. So if you had something,
Pull it together.
you're like, I really want a container, and it's like $6,000, $7,000.
Right.
You could hold off onto that and say, okay, well, wait. And what's really nice is this past year, you got 6 points at $245 a point.
Okay.
We are changing that now, starting now. So in April, the grant opens. June is this new grant deadline. It's going to be $450 a point. So it goes up double.
Mm.
Oh, good.
And if we get to 10 points, then it will be $600 a point. So that's how we keep on, we entice you to
Yeah.
make
Yeah.
a change.
We like that.
And so you're going to double your money. And if you do a change like and what I'm going to talk about, hauler regulation, just updating your policies, then I can give you 2 to 3 points for that. If you go to a pay-as-you-throw program, I'll give you 5 points for that. So there's things like that.
Wheeler Grader is still operating then?
Yeah,
huh?
with
Huh?
under Win Waste. It's called Win.
Win but it's still up there,
Yeah.
off Route 20, up on the left there? Or?
Yeah.
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 Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
no kidding.
Yeah, no, so
No
that's
worries,
that's
no.
most. We have 6
Yes.
waste to energy facilities in Massachusetts, and we have 6 landfills. Do you believe that? When I first started, we had like 150.
No, well,
There's
wow.
6 left,
Cassell is the big one, yeah.
and they are closing. By 2030, we will not have any regional landfill.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So our trash is going away, and so it is a good idea to have know where your trash is going. You know.
Yeah.
So,
Um,
excuse me, this $1,400, so we're not mandated to spend it within 12 months. We can
No.
carry it over and build up a little nest egg
Yep.
for
Yep.
future container
just
purchase
tell
or
us
something
what you want to
else.
spend it on. Yeah.
And if we get
Okay.
another grant, we can put it right in the same account and make
When
it
we-
add.
For the RDP, yes.
Yeah.
hmm
Great.
Yep. So you need to have that dedicated account, and so the things that need to be the prerequisites. I'm gonna get you your change. I'll do the email with both of you
Okay.
for your retrack
Yeah,
username.
actually, yeah, it's the password and, the username, that
We
can
can
stay
change
the
it
same.
weekly.
It's just
Well, it's
who can
3 months.
sign off on it. Because I set it up with part of his name and part of
Yeah,
my name.
it's under the job description. So that means any Board of Health member could sign it.
Okay.
So because we know people leave, and
Right.
those contracts are for 5, and I think we have it now for 10 years. So town administrators,
Right.
town treasurers, Board of Health, Board of Select, people leave, so it's under job description, so it doesn't matter the name of the person. So that is, the grant is going on to Retrack, doing this survey, and doing the recycling dividend program, and then we need the town administrator, last year did this, it's every fiscal year to do, you have a buy recycle policy?
Yeah, we've
Yeah.
already put the
I've already
request in.
emailed her.
Great,
I'm waiting for it.
and the biggest thing is we need to make sure that it goes from them, not from the Board of Health,
Yeah.
and that it has the policy included. So sometimes it was like, we have a policy, oh, that's nice, what is
What?
the
Yeah.
It's in a file somewhere, it's from 1989, nobody knows.
Oh,
Yeah,
we
I
do that.
emailed them, I think, 3 weeks ago, the
Yeah.
select people to
So
do that.
then,
Yeah.
yeah, so the sooner we can get that in, the better.
Yep.
Okay, so I have data here that you guys gave me, and I just wanted to be clarified on it. You have revenue coming in from the stickers,
Mm-hmm.
and you have fee items, so people pay, and so that was the 13,000. You get recycling, and so you have from the scrap, from the textiles, from the batteries, from your returnables. That's great, and you're even getting from your cardboard. That is wonderful. So many people are not getting that, so that's great.
We
Now-
did a little bit, but it's.
So you have your payroll, which is good. It's nice to have somebody working here. He said they're giddy, and he does tell me how giddy he is.
He works as,
Yeah.
Yep, they appreciate you. Just disposal of trash. I just wanted to make sure I have 266.89 from last year. Is that the full tons? And then you have it divided by 48. So I was trying. I don't know. That's what I received. So I don't know.
The 48 is number of hauls, I believe.
So that's times or
No, that, it took 48 hauls to get rid of 266 tons.
okay.
And that's,
So the whole year.
what's not, excuse me, what's not clear with this is that there's also 49 tons that was in the open top.
So that's
That-
pretty much bulky waste.
Bulky
Yeah.
waste. The 266 is what goes through our compactors, which is more of the household variety.
And that, of course, went down dramatically from last year. You had 571. So I'm kind of thinking that was, you said a lot of people left. You know, they might have a sticker, but they've gone curbside. They're not bringing their household trash.
some of them
Yes,
have, yeah.
Some of that, but we also lost the hauler that was coming to the transfer
The
station.
only one that started way back, he was able to haul to the transfer station, but
And
they
had-
had to get stickers.
Right, and had probably, what's that?
Hudson.
No, that was actually Phil, well.
Yeah, Hudson
Yeah.
Disposal.
Yeah,
Hudson
right,
disposal,
so-
yeah.
Yeah,
because
I mean, they
now
had like a,
there's
25
no-
is only for the
I still
6
see him
months.
driving.
Dave,
We've only got,
Yeah,
That's
so
through
I'm trying
December.
to stay with to have the full year data, so I'm using the whole year
okay,
of the first
Fiscal
column.
July.
Okay.
Yeah.
it wouldn't
Yeah.
be cut in half though.
Mm-mm.
right, yeah.
Yeah, I could probably do that. To be more the so then you have a cost of 12,810. So that is the cost for that disposal or for the collection of it for the hauling. What was
BP is our hauler at
Yeah.
the moment.
so you had so that's the number I had. I have 266.89 divided by 48, and then it said 12,810 is. Come on,
Our
where's
bills
my-
are 8,000 a month.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
yeah. Our,
It's 8,000 a month.
yeah.
I mean, give or take, you know, and then that includes
That's after they
Sometimes
weigh
it's
it.
8,
the rental.
sometimes it's
yeah, I mean,
10.
That's including some rentals
Yeah.
and the haul charges and stuff. So.
Okay, maybe I put that there. So what is
They take
Okay.
it over. They take it over to Hudson, right?
Mhm.
okay? So that's the number I put in. Let me go back, because I was trying to figure out what. So your disposal cost. That's what I don't have. So I have your tonnage that was collected. But
I
what
think it
was
would-
the cost? You're saying it's $8,000 a month.
Well, right, but that includes things like the rentals of the compactors, and that you know, that's not straight
Yeah.
disposal costs.
Right, the actual disposal cost would be the tonnage times, I think it was 140 a ton for that year.
That's,
Okay.
That would get us closer for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. And okay. And then I have recycling
The tonnage
costs,
doesn't
it was
regulate.
$13.85, that is the actual tonnage amount for the
Yes,
year.
Yes.
And then it was collected 4 times, and did you pay for the collection of that as well?
We paid for the disposal of,
Yeah.
or the
Yeah.
recycling. of-
Processing of it,
Yeah,
or,
the processing, that's a better
and then
word.
you also have like the container that has to be moved, cause the 8,000, that's for the trash compactor. And does that include the roll-off, or is that a separate one? That
Yeah,
goes with both?
that $8,000 bill is our total bill from BP,
Yeah, that's
which
hauling.
includes,
Yeah.
And that
all the
hauling for the
compactors.
recyclables as well?
correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
It would be great if there was a way to break that
Break that
out
out.
a bit, because the one thing that comes out is when you do a pay-as-you-throw program, you reduce your trash more, and you will have a reduction in how many times you have to move it, you know, so
Right.
there's
So
a-
Well, it might be
moving
a-
and weight
Cart,
should be
yeah.
separated, or, yeah.
It normally is, yeah, your collection cost, because I like to keep, yeah, if we can, but knowing that I didn't have the $8,000 amount.
What would be likely to happen is the cost of the actual trash would go down, but the cost of the recycling processing would go up.
Right. But it doesn't, because you guys have been having it separated and people are going there and they're conscientious, is that you're probably not gonna have as big as an increase in recyclables
Right.
as some other towns would when it's just,
Yeah, I think the residents that use the transfer station are really pretty good with the recycling. Certainly not all of
Right,
them,
there's
but
a,
Oh, Stanley's brought them along.
well, I mean, there's
He
a
brought a
certain
board
contingent.
up, everything, told him what should go where, and that has helped us a lot,
yep,
actually.
and education, and that, when we try to do the RDP, getting points,
Yeah.
that, all that education goes in there, and you'd get, more points for that.
Oh, good.
So that's what we want to see, that more ways. Have you been communicating, because you've had people going to private haulers, have you done a mailing out to residents, you know,
No,
that
we
we're
probably
cheaper?
should. We probably should.
You know, that's something, when you get this money,
Yeah.
it will pretty much come within
We've
30 to
gotten a
60
lot of
days.
new people and they just can't be bothered with it.
Well, they don't
Well,
know,
they don't-
or they may not know, exactly, too.
Yeah,
both.
so it sometimes is, you know,
Can
your
we use that
cost is,
1,400 for a mailing?
huh?
Can
Yeah,
we use that 1,400?
absolutely.
Oh,
There you go.
okay.
Then that would be the best thing,
You're
we
gonna
want to
get
get
the
more
name.
people
Okay.
in there.
Okay, yeah, John.
So we
It says
are
something
at,
about it.
Yeah. Well, that's good to know.
Hey Sue, can you spell John's last name?
SHOUCA.
CLAIR, I believe.
Soldier, something like that.
am I attached to something?
I'll look it up.
Yeah.
I went to the barn beforehand, so I probably have
It's
some,
all right.
I have some hay on me.
Yeah,
Good
good.
job.
So you belong here.
The, let me see if I had that in here. Cost of the collection.
I have SHOUCAIR, I'm not sure about an L in it.
Okay.
Well, I can ask. I think I've got it.
We're coming back, right?
Yeah, I've got it written down, I just didn't know who.
Yeah, because
Oh.
you guys
And I'm
haven't
thinking
done
that's-
really education besides the stuff at the transfer station. We should do that.
Because that was something like you needed multilingual for education. card
So
versus
you can just have
bilingual.
that on the website. It doesn't really even have to
Okay.
be.
But
On the
we don't know
signage,
how to do multi
Wh-
on the website, multilingual.
We have a guide, the great website, in which we're gonna need for starting for this next year for the education grant. Education point is to have recyclesmartma.org on your website, and there's 2 different things. You have the link to it, and we have in the far corner of that site, it says Beyond the Bin, and we'd like people to have that as well
Yeah,
on
I'm
their
familiar with
website.
that.
So yes, you collect things, but there are certain things like, I have a couch. Oh, I have, you know, I have a bigger scrap metal. I can't lift it in my car. Is there other people around? Or I know we have it, but my mother is taking apart her house in another part of the state. I'm not going to bring it here. Who can I go to? So it tells you where you can take everything.
Okay.
And
We do have a scrapyard in town for
Yeah, and you always want to add those things in there.
Right, but is there, because I'm familiar with both of those websites through a different town, but
Yeah.
is there like, Espanol or?
Yep.
this or that?
So
Oh,
on there,
is.
so
Okay.
in the corner of
Okay.
Recycle Smart and
Yep.
MA.org
Yep.
has it in a different language, so you can just pick one
Oh.
and just have an English version and a
Okay.
Spanish if you feel Spanish is one of that people would use
Yep.
in town,
Okay,
and just have those on your website, and then you get that credit.
okay, so even if it's only 2 languages
Yep.
versus, so, okay.
Yeah. And you
Okay.
can talk to. I find it very funny is like if we go down to Shrewsbury, it's more Indian or
Right.
there's
Oh, yeah.
different.
Yeah.
So there are different clumps of people that you don't
Yeah,
think of.
we'd have Portuguese. I mean,
Yeah.
Hudson is big Portuguese, and I think that would probably, that might even be our second.
Yeah, so
second
there's about,
language more than
I think
Spanish.
there's 9
Yeah.
languages on there,
I
so
think
you
so.
can pick
But
Portuguese.
you
and
get
put that
points for that?
Yep.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've got the printout in the desk,
Yep.
probably, if you wanna look at it.
on. Okay, so I
That's
think.
cool. So we should do,
Do
instead of Spanish, we
Do I
should
have
go with
that?
Portuguese?
I mean, you can do both. I just feel
Yeah.
like Portuguese
Right.
is probably a bigger contingent, but
Because they're similar, but.
they're similar,
do-
but they're a
yeah,
little
okay,
different.
all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause I don't know the ethnicity.
So you guys, so what I have right now of how much tons are, I gotta update this a little. Plus, we said 50, right? Yeah. Okay, you are costing. The cost of your current program is $146,460. I mean, you have a small program for the 640 households here. And the revenue that I see that you guys are having right now with your recyclables, with your banned items, I just want to do a number double check to make sure I got all that in there. And it seems like you have a tight budget, but it seems to be working.
Thanks to Sue.
Yeah.
And Dawn.
Complained I have a type this.
You know, it's just great that you have the fees are separate and then you're getting the revenue from your recyclables, which so many communities don't because they put it all together and so then they pay to have somebody else separate them. But because you guys have it separated, you're getting that revenue. So I have so many other towns that are not doing this. Which is that. So $146,000 is your cost and your revenue is $151,600 is what I have for fiscal year 24. So now, of course, that'll change a bit now that a few of the people have left.
Yeah,
that's
it's
why
hard
it's
to say.
getting.
We've also had a few people add after the new year that when the rates came up for the private haulers, we did have some folks then add too. So hard to say where we're gonna end up exactly this year.
The assessors are getting the information on how many households we actually have in town, which I believe is upwards of 1,500, which smacks of like, where is everybody?
Right.
You
That's
know,
more than half not using the
what's going
transportation.
on, which is also part of this exercise and trying to dig a little deeper to find out. You know, can we, I know if we capture more people, our costs are gonna go up, but there could be a result in better equity and more income as well. So I would, at this point, surmise that any increase in costs would be offset by the additional revenues that we collect.
Yeah. I'm gonna just put this new cost in here. So there is definitely a few options. So some of the options. I mean, you keep the program as is, and you keep on increasing your fees. Your fees are really cheap, you know. But your people.
Can you come down to the transfer station and tell people that?
We'll give you a megaphone and a heater.
Yeah.
You have.
Just post the fees of other towns. If you
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
not a bad
No.
idea.
Yeah, that's-
Part of our
that's a
information.
good
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
And that they're paying it in their taxes, so they might not see it. And then they're also, like in Southborough, they have a portion of it in the taxes, and then a portion that's the flat fee and the fees that you pay. And then you also have another group that is like Boylston. Everybody
Yeah.
pays their own,
Yes.
and they're paying up to $600 to $700 per household. And so if
Per
you're
year.
one person per
Yeah.
year,
Good to know.
Right.
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
you are one person, like we had that committee for 2 years to discussing what they're doing. They're having an RFP to go curbside. So that is their thing, to go curbside with pay-as-you-throw bags. So that is, we're looking at the numbers. We're
That's
waiting for them
Boylston?
to come. Boylston.
Yeah.
So they had a committee together and went through it.
How many,
We have an
how many
RFP.
households are in Boylston?
Oh, pretty
See.
close.
Yeah, I want to say 2,000.
Double, yeah.
I think we're at 2,000.
Is there a certain threshold where that makes more sense financially?
It depends on what the hauler would give us, and so the towns of Hubbardston, Princeton, and Rutland are doing the same thing, and they realized with just 1,000 households in Princeton, it didn't work. The vendor would not give
Too
a
small.
price.
A deal.
A deal.
I've been involved in a couple bids relative to townwide household collection in a previous life. And the road mileage, a number of dead-end roads, there are a number of factors that the haulers look at, which can either be thumbs up or thumbs down,
Yeah.
And the more challenging, obviously, it's gonna be more money. Several years ago, I extrapolated, I took a couple towns that do residential curbside and overlaid it with our population and houses, and I came up with a number. If we would do townwide curbside, and this is 3-4 years ago, it'd be somewhere in the vicinity of $600,000 a year for the town.
Yep.
And our transfer station is a hell of a lot better deal.
It is a
right
better
now.
deal.
Yeah.
It is a better deal. It is, and it's really sad is we tried to, your cost right now is $146,000. That's. I keep on thinking, is that it? Are you sure?
Well,
Or the one thing you don't have is hazardous
They
waste.
pay
And
him.
Yeah, we don't do hazardous waste, and we need to find
We-
a vendor. for
We
that.
do it every so many years. We do it.
Yeah,
We
but-
haven't been able to,
Yeah.
though.
we can work with other communities, so I'll talk to you about that in a minute.
Okay.
Devon.
Yeah, and the last time we did it,
It's a lot. That's almost a $7,000 bill.
it's a huge bill and we get such a tiny amount. The first time we did it, we got a
Yep.
bunch of
Yeah.
stuff.
It worked too. I mean, Clean Harbors were great as a vendor, but it
How
was
far-
expensive.
Very
But
expensive,
yeah.
I'm gonna do a quick.
Yeah, because some towns
Marlboro does it twice a
pay
year.
for the
Yeah,
Devons,
they're-
Right,
and that's,
Do
and
they?
that's expensive, I
So were you
guess.
saying it cost us $7,000?
Devon's.
Just
But
to
that's a
have,
waste for us.
like,
Right, and
Clean
then you have to
Harbors
pay
or
when
whatever
you go to
come,
Yes.
Yeah.
come
Yeah.
in.
Clinton's part of that.
And we would
Stowe's
try
part of
to
that.
charge back
And you,
Yes.
the residents pay.
some of
Yes.
those
Cover the
costs.
cost, sure.
And the costs are going up.
But, I
depending
mean,
on what the cost
What
is.
we recouped was nowhere near what we had to pay
So
out.
it's not a
And it's
break even,
been-
it's not
Oh,
just a
no.
service,
No.
this is a
And it's
cost.
been, what,
Because
10
they,
years since the last?
there are two aspects that have been in the
Oh.
past, two aspects to the hazardous waste billing. There's a nominal or initial fee just for them to show up. It's an operational
Yeah.
startup cost.
Yeah.
And then there's the cost for actual disposal
thing.
of what comes in. And
Should
they were
have-
leaving it up to us what to charge.
Right.
And it's like,
We,
Right.
we didn't
You're
even,
there with the
yeah,
pen and
we
paper
didn't
and-
have a
Right.
clue.
So
Is
the
it-
Devon's Hazardous Waste is a group of 12
Yeah.
hazardous,
Yep.
ha-
Yeah, you have
12
to buy into
communities.
that.
Yeah.
It is the most efficient program to have of the communities coming together. And if I can find her last number.
And do we pay on top if someone was to go to Devon's and bring
No,
stuff?
so what that Devon's is that you pay a yearly fee for the administration.
Okay.
And there's a one-time fee to enter
join,
in, to
right,
join,
yeah.
and that's forever, because the 10 communities that started it, each had to build the building.
Yeah.
So they say, we had to put in, $10,000. It depends on population and equity. But I do have a number here, and if I could see,
we put it before town meeting about 6 or 8 years ago, and at that time, our entry cost was gonna be approximately $6,000.
Yeah.
And then,
They
you
didn't.
know, our residents would have to go to Devon's to
Yeah.
get rid of their stuff, and
But
that's
people-
not what they wanna do.
And
Yeah.
it costs money too.
it does cost to go in, but if you
Yeah.
go to, I was trying to see when people move they have to clean out their
Exactly.
house.
That's
Yeah.
where we get
And,
most of it, yeah.
and it's better for fires and things like that, and if you can keep on cleaning out versus hoarding it for so long. I'm just trying to see if I have the most updated.
Did their rates go up this year too?
Um,
Some
if for, I
I
think
think they,
for a little bit, it actually, the whole thing comes out, because they have to pay the insurance and they have to do the audit and all their, and they have one person staff there, and then they
Wow.
play Clean Harbors, it's 20 times a year. So it's not just one time, you have
Right.
20 times, so if you're moving,
Yeah.
you have a place to go. And, executive summary, maybe this
yeah,
was
because
what I
the town I live in is a member.
Is anyone doing
That's
like a
March through
two-tiered
December.
system? And if you don't use a lot, you can do the bags, and if you're going to use a lot, you pay more than what we're paying now.
I hear you.
Yep, so I'm gonna talk about that in a
Okay.
second. I just wanted to,
Oh, no, I've come from a community of buying bags, and I
Okay.
didn't particularly like it. It was
Right.
very inconvenient.
Okay.
But if someone is only throwing one bag out a week, do they have to pay as much as me? But if I'm throwing out 20 bags a week, should I be buying a little higher subscription to buy in to cover my end of it, but where I don't have to choke on yellow bags?
Right, that's, I know, that's what Stan and we were talking about.
Yeah, I mean,
I was trying to
I
see
think
what
the hard part
Stowe
there is
pays, but
guessing.
I can't,
what our
Find
rates
it.
should be and then what we charge for bags to make it
Yeah.
come out to be
Bolt-
the.
Bolt-
we
Bolt
can get a
is
number
pay
for
as
you.
you throw now.
Yeah.
Because we can shoot
Yeah,
ourselves in the foot by only charging $1.
Okay, I will get you the information, I'm looking at it, but I'm not.
Sorry.
Because I
Don't
could,
worry.
I could probably find it, because I
Here.
work for Stowe too.
Because
Where
people are
did it go?
recycling and doing, we got.
You could have
that's
two
the
different color
household
stickers, right? One that would be
accounts.
covered, I'm using bag stickers,
Now, is it
and the
more
other
per
one is I'm not gonna be
town
using bags.
based on the
Right, but the people
population?
who are using
For
bags
Devon?
are still doing.
Okay, so
still
for
recycling.
Devon's,
Still- and we're
you,
paying
like I
for
said,
all the
like
bags.
Stowe is a part of it,
Yeah.
Bolton's a part of it,
So.
of course, they are bigger populations. That's population, so I think you're still there. Ashburnham just joined, and I think Ashby at 3,000 population is the smallest.
Okay.
But like I said, there is that one-time fee, and I wanna say,
So I think there needs to be $100.
it's under, I wanna say it's under 5,000 that you pay once a year, and then you, oh,
And could we use the grant money towards that?
absolutely, and you can use the grant money to pay the yearly fee.
And does that give us points also?
Absolutely, it
If I
gives you
find
two,
that the
it gives you 2
local
points.
vendor
Okay.
town is cheaper than
Terrific.
Tuesday.
So, it could work out that what you get every year could pay for the hazardous waste by itself.
Okay.
So, we can look at the numbers of,
We have to try to make it happen.
Devon's is your closest. The other thing you could just put on your website, like if somebody's moving right now, is, we have it on state contract, is NEDT in Sutton. So that should be on your website.
That's what we hand out to people at the transfer station when they inquire about hazardous waste.
Yeah.
Stan hands out some information about the
Because
Sutton
that
operation.
is, so, if somebody's moving and they need to move today and they're like, where do I take it? You can go there and it will be there. They will pay their own fee and it's per pound for everything, and it will probably range that they're gonna leave with $100 bill or $1,000 bill,
right.
depending on how much they're bringing.
75 for a sticker.
When you go to Devon's, it's $1.58. Oh, it is also based on that of how much you bring in, but you might pay $4 or you might pay $150. So the resident has it's a smaller fee because it's subsidized by the towns, but it's just a bit. When I did the calculations, it came out to $1.50 a gallon, which was like the cheapest ever. But a resident doesn't pay that because they pay more because they have to pay for all the insurance. Devon's has the most insurance on that site than ever.
Oh, no kidding, yeah. Well, new and it's,
It's just crazy. Okay,
Can we,
get back.
get circled back here, please?
Okay, so the options you have, if you go, you can always increase costs. You could you go to a
Increase
bag
fees, or-
program. There is a bag program that you can have one size. A lot of people like two sizes to have a small bag and a large bag. I personally do like the bags. I kind of always say go to the bags because it keeps everything uniform. It makes enforcement really easy. It's just, Townsend just went purple. So we have the purple bags in Townsend. There's green bags, there's blue bags, there's all different color bags. I
And who
just tell people,
distribute-
no red bags, just no red bags for
Right.
hazardous
Who
materials.
distributes the bags?
We have on state contract 3 companies. They will do everything for you. So you pretty much tell them, I'm ready to go. They make the bags, they inventory the bags, they work with the retailers around. So Harvard doesn't even have, they have one
Right, general store.
general store
Yeah.
in the town of Harvard. So, but there is a supermarket in Air, there's a supermarket
Right.
in another town, there's a hardware store in Air.
Yeah.
And so then they'll put it around, and so I think there's like 6 locations that people in Harvard could buy the
You
bags,
Go buy your bags, yeah.
and it just makes it uniform. Because I have some that have tried stickers. Pepperell has done stickers. The problem with that has been, I lived in Pepperell for a while, and I asked the town treasurer, like, how do you keep account? And she goes, well, we have our numbers. So the guy that worked at the transfer station would just say, just hand me the money. And he was like not giving out the stickers, just did a count and say, oh, you have 6 bags, put it in here. And so it just makes it a little, doesn't give somebody the enticement of having cash at the transfer station.
Stickers aren't gonna work.
And then they sometimes
Right.
fall off, and the people
Yep.
cut them, and we have nice new printers. You know, these printers are awesome.
Oh.
You can make your own printer look exactly the same way.
Oh, there you go. Don't get nobody any ideas, but yeah, there you go.
So
Yeah.
there is some really good stickers out there, but it's just, I do have, Ashby does do a count. It's a small town. They only really have 300 people that come in the month, you know. And so he knows everybody, and he just does a count, and he goes, okay, you got 2, pay this. And so there is still, there is money flowing, but
So
it
they're
is one
literally
person.
paying each time they go.
Yeah.
They're not-
Oh,
okay.
that's.
So they're not doing, they do their own bags, and then so he tells them.
I don't think
But I prefer to have the bag with a third party,
Yeah.
and it makes it really
I
nice.
guess my issue with that is, how do you separate your, returnables, or, as he says,
Oh, yeah.
and your
Well, that-
plastic and all that? You rip open everybody's bag and.
No, they're
Yeah,
bringing
no,
it in a
it's
separate
the
container.
They do their own
That's
separate
all.
like they do now, but instead of
Right.
having a black or white bag, their kitchen bag or their big
Yeah.
black bag, they would have the town's green bag.
Yeah,
And
just for trash.
just for trash.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
no, we-
And then they do whatever they do with their recyclables. They'll
Okay.
And
separate
that's
them.
the idea, so that they're
Yeah.
pulling it out of there.
Right.
But-
Right.
So
And
aren't you
it's a
doubling the use of
psychological thing.
plastic, though? 'Cause
Yeah,
aren't
you
they-
are.
aren't they
That's-
putting their household bags into these other plastic
Right.
bags?
You don't
and-
have to. I know that there are some
Well,
people
we
that
did.
do, but you don't have to.
Yeah.
So would you have like the 13 and then the 30 gallons?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Okay.
that would
Yeah.
probably be a reason to have the 2 bags.
Yeah.
Try to
Yeah,
not
that
have
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
two
Two
sizes.
sizes.
Yeah.
Yep. The other thing is it's a psychological thing. It is unbelievable. Like, I have 4 kids. If I have a quarter on the floor, they'll all pass it. Like, I cannot be bothered to pick up the quarter. But the
Where do you
town-
live?
But there's $1.
But in Shrewsbury, which they make a lot of money in
Yeah.
Shrewsbury,
Yeah.
they just went up 20 cents on their bag. They've been at a certain price for thing.
Yeah.
They dropped their tonnage by 300 pounds per household. It's a psychological thing.
So what are you
10 cents,
attributing
10
that to?
cents for the
Are they
small
burning
bag
it
and
now,
20
or-
Yeah,
cents.
but no, that's what I'm saying. So what do you attribute the reduction in
It's
tonnage?
they open it up and they start recycling, they start reusing, they start doing charity of like, oh, I have, my sneakers are done. And a lot of times people think, oh, charity boxes are just for best clothes. Like if it can be just put right back on the shelves. And that's not the case. They've
Right.
been recycling
Yeah.
from the beginning. So if you're doing a quilt and you have scraps,
Yeah.
if you have painted shirts, painted jeans, holy socks,
Yeah.
they take it all. And a
Yeah.
lot of people don't realize that. And so you go to Beyond the Bin and you realize, oh, I can recycle all these other products I didn't think about. And it's not just at the transfer station, but it can be everywhere.
Well,
And-
we have one at the transfer station.
We
Yeah.
do, we have a clothing bin.
Yeah,
And sometimes people just they think they don't, like stuffed animals. I'm not gonna put stuffed animals, but you can.
maybe
you know.
we should.
But the take it or leave it takes stuff down.
Well, they do, but I don't think CMRK takes stuffed animals.
So we have a
Yeah.
volunteer,
So
take it or leave it,
Yeah,
that
we'll have
works
to-
pretty
Yes,
good,
they do.
very good,
Yeah.
yeah. That take-
And so you can do another vendor if that was sometimes.
Right.
Hmm.
But see, the other statistic I've seen is where you talk about the reduced number of vehicle trips when they do pay-as-you-throw. And that number doesn't seem, why would you reduce the number of vehicle trips?
Oh, what I was talking about is
I've just
your
seen it on a flyer, I saw it on.
yeah the resident comes in. Sometimes they realize that if they start composting, they don't need to come every week. They might come every other week to the transfer
Okay.
station. That is one aspect. The other aspect is your most programs. It is unbelievable. I've done this about 20 times, and it drops 50%. And Northborough was like, no, it won't be for us. We're just going to drop 20%. It's not going to
Drops
be
what,
50.
20%?
Their trash
Trash.
dropped. They didn't lose people, but where did that go? We lost 50%.
And you don't think they're throwing it in commercial bins anymore?
No. No.
You don't think people are
There
dodging
are
the
a
system
few
by-
heavy users that will drop the program. So you might have the people that are
Well, that's what, they're gonna go to
bringing
the private
their
they're
other
gonna go to the private
friends.
haulers, or they go to the private haulers who don't separate.
But it's really
Right.
amazing to see how much that really doesn't change. Like in Harvard, I think they lost 9, but in the next year, after they realized it's $700 to have curbside, then they've come back,
Yeah,
and within 2 years they've come back.
okay.
You know.
So where does the less, are they eating their kids? What? I mean,
Yeah,
So
That's
really,
going
when you
recycling.
think of what we do,
Oh,
we
goodness.
do a waste characterization at the waste at Wheelabrator and at other places of what's really in the trash. So we have over 60 items we put out of what it makes up the trash. You got the diapers, you got the food scraps, you got the clothes, you got the thing. We go around and we do that. And now I've put it together in 5 categories to make it so that we can kind of your basic recyclables. In most cases now for Central Mass, it's only 15% because I have drop-offs all over, I have curbsides all over. So it's mostly now the multifamilies that just don't have recycling or some of the smaller businesses.
Right.
Then it's 30% is organic.
Yeah, that's where I'm
So
hoping
that's-
that we would
that's-
pull out.
yeah.
is
So
that if we could get
30% is
the organics out
organic,
of the trash.
And then we have these other items, textiles, believe it or not, even though you have a bin there,
Oh, yeah, I
is
still see them
still
go in.
5% of Massachusetts
That's
trash
stupid.
is textiles because they're like, it has a stain on it,
Right.
it has a rip in it,
Right.
I lost a glove, it's only one.
Yeah,
Huh.
we need better signage for that
We
bin.
So
Yeah.
it's, you know,
Yeah.
it's
And it
okay
should
if it's
say
ripped, just
anything,
no
yep.
wet and smelly, that's what we say,
Yeah.
no wet and
Right.
smelly.
Right.
And then wood, electronic, and so there's different charm items, but you have the drop off, so people
Right.
have a place to take that. At curbside, they really don't have a place, like for the scrap metal, I
Right.
have some places
Right.
that don't have,
Mm.
they don't have that access. And it's really, out of all the trash that we throw out, it's only 35%. 35% is real trash.
It's real trash.
And so we are spending so much money on this other portion that can be. So when you have a financial incentive, even if it's
Yeah.
50 cents,
Okay.
you're like, well, why am I putting that in there? And so I've had different people like, I am not a recycler, I'm not an environmentalist, I don't care this, but I'm an economist, and my
Yeah,
family is
those are
in
the
one
ones who will
kitchen
change.
bag a
Yep.
week, and we're not doing
Right.
any more than that.
Yep.
Huh.
Yep.
And it's
You'll
not
get
like
some
they're
of those.
hoarders, they're not they're just like, we look in it.
Yep.
I'll tell you, put this in here.
Well, we looked at a few years ago, we went from, all recyclables, people putting the cans in, and then we decided to put it.
Single stream to
well,
separate it out.
we put the cans in the metal container. And I think that saved us tonnage where you get a little bit for metal, you know what I mean? But it did take out of the tonnage for
Well, it
us,
seems like you're getting the returnable amount, so you're getting the 5 cents.
We're
they're-
separating
they're
that. We have a
separating.
we have a scout drop
Returnables,
off.
Yeah.
we have a
We make an effort.
procedure,
We have a
we make an
procedure,
effort,
we make
yeah.
an effort.
Yeah.
But we also, we have a scout drop off. I always encourage people to drop them off to the scouts to donate, but the ones who don't,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna throw them away.
No.
I'm not gonna pay to get rid of them, so we drive them into
Some,
Waltham.
some of our payroll is based on processing, collecting that
Yep.
stuff. But it's taking it out of the waste stream and it's fundamentally
Yeah.
free money for us.
Basically, it was soup cans and that type, tuna, that
Yeah.
type that went into
Those
the
are different, yeah.
metal. Those are a lot different,
Yeah.
there's no,
Yeah, but they separate, because they
Yeah,
put
they-
them in the
'cause
tons
it
and
adds
everybody
up.
pulls
I bet
it
a
out.
quarter of our metal bin is
Yeah.
those, is cans.
Right.
yeah, no, is it, yeah, there you go.
It's tin cans.
It works, It-
20%.
So if,
So now,
Yeah, those
one quick question, I just
That
have this in
actually
different
goes
places.
to Framingham South
The
7, where they
cost
take a
for a
pine
senior
drive, the
sticker
nickels
is
to
what
all
right
that.
now?
I
is it
drive nickel
110?
bottles and nickel cans.
Stainless
One,
too.
110 and
He
then
does his own
140 for the late, is that right? Let me go grab the sheet.
What-
And then,
Pretty
and then a
sure
normal
it's
person
separate.
is, 280 or 260?
215 and then
Make
240.
the effort
Yeah,
to-
215.
Let me
yeah,
grab
free
that.
money.
Okay, I don't know why I have 240.
It's effort.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
280.
yeah,
It's
it's
effort.
fine.
That could be the late fee, if they don't,
No, late fee was 240, I believe.
yeah,
That is, I mean, your price is still so good.
yeah, actually.
And it's just, you guys keep it very tight. It's,
Yeah, we do.
So, I mean, Irene, so you would go, if you were to just implement, like, what would be your ideal
right
plan
now,
for
you
us?
could do, if you wanna be very frugal, keep everything the same and go
Okay, Bill.
organic.
Yeah.
All right.
And then tell people, go to a hauler regulation.
All right, so this,
Oh,
this is
great.
our
You could take that.
fact
Yeah.
sheet, and this is our mail
Yeah.
away too. So this is senior is 110,
Yep,
and then 140, 215, 245. And
Yeah.
then the second, third, 25, replacement 15.
You could take those.
yeah,
Yeah,
I'll
you
take
can-
those.
yeah.
So what I wanna say is for some of the options here, the easiest option we could do
Mhm.
is you create a you have, I think, a hauler regulation right now to the other haulers that do the private pickup? Do you have a
No.
leasing
We're
license?
working
We
on
do
that,
not.
actually.
Okay, I can help you on that, and
Right.
I can get you more grant money if you have
Okay.
that, okay?
Right.
And
we-
having that makes a level playing field, because you might have a small hauler coming in, or any hauler, even E.L. Harvey comes
Yeah.
in, and now E.L. Harvey's not E.L. Harvey, he's
Right.
Yeah.
Waste Connections, he's out of Texas,
down
he's
there.
the number
Right.
3rd in the
Right.
country, he's a
Right.
big guy, so
It's
everybody's
like
like,
waste
oh, I'm,
management now, yeah.
Local
Yeah.
and, yeah.
everybody kinda thinks I'm still with my private
Yeah.
guy, no,
No.
he's a big guy now.
So you're saying it makes them,
To level the playing field, because they don't always provide the same service.
Right.
So, we have waistband laws, as you guys are following at the transfer station, but if somebody has private pickup, they can say, oh, I'm picking your house up, it's $500 a year.
Yep.
You want recycling, that's another $200. Oh, well, then I don't wanna do it, so I'm not gonna do it. So now they're not following
they
the
just-
waistband laws, that household doesn't have a
they
place
just,
to
they just
take
put
stuff.
they're just putting
Everything
everything in the
together.
trash, cause
That's-
it
Yeah.
still only
That's
costs
what my
$500.
question kinda earlier,
So,
yeah.
and that's against Massachusetts, but
Okay.
because we're a commonwealth, we need each town to have and say, we need to follow waistband laws.
Okay.
Everybody needs to follow waistband laws, and then the other one is that residential need to have bundled pricing. So that it's just 3 little lines in there, bundled pricing for residential. So if it's one family, or if it's a condo, or if it's a multifamily unit, the hauler needs to provide trash and recycling under one price. Yes, there might be 2 containers, there needs to be 2 containers, but it has to be one price, it's one service. If there's a commercial unit, they also need to have bundled service for commercial. There could be an exception to say that if that commercial entity has a different vendor for their recyclables, so some other.
Yeah, we don't allow commercial, supposedly commercial dumping, which I think we
So you're
get
saying
some.
we
So-
implement
so
this
that's an
procedure, and
easy
that
thing
means, that means
is-
all the haulers have to abide by it,
Right.
and
Yep.
they have to.
Well, most of the hauler, because I also work for the Stowe Board of Health,
Mhm.
and we do the permitting
Yeah.
for the haulers, and they all, most of them do the single stream recycling.
Yep.
Okay.
I mean,
And
it's
we
just-
tried to get a list of who was in Berlin, and we're coming up crickets at this point.
Yeah.
Because we were
I'm-
ready to implement it,
Yeah, we
but-
named a few, but it's like you see more every day,
Right.
Belinsky and this and one, this one,
Right.
you know, and.
And so they come into town and you don't have a permit, so they want you
Right,
to
we
make
wanted
sure
to
that.
do the permit,
So,
right.
so I will email you that to you, and I can
Okay.
come to another meeting and we can go through
Yeah.
that.
Okay,
The other thing is Ed Organics.
Yeah.
It's really a
Yes.
simple kind of thing. There are other vendors out there, but note that Black Earth is very involved in this area.
Mhm.
So in Groton is his hub.
Okay.
So he is already collecting from Littleton and Air and Groton. They just have like a container. People they can get compostable bags and put their stuff in there, and or you just have kitchen scrap buckets, and you
Right.
can put it in there, and you can
Yeah, I
just
mean, we
have
try
a
to encourage
pile
people to do
of
it at
leaves,
home,
and you
but-
can kind of just
Yeah.
make it like a little cake, and making sure that
In
there's not much
Berlin, we
smell.
don't have garbage disposals, cause, you know,
Right.
Yeah.
we're all town, no town water, so.
Right.
So he's charging to pick up those organics.
Yes, and you can use the grant money for that, and I want to say it might be $200 a year
No, he would pick
What,
up at,
that's,
for him to come every
cost.
time for pickup
At
Per
the tra-
household?
at
at
the
the,
transfer station.
at
Oh,
the
at the
transfer,
transfer
yeah.
station.
So
One
they-
site, he
yeah.
could do per household, and they do. You could have that on the website, and people can get pickup, and that pretty much goes out to about $150 to $300, about $150 a year.
okay, now if
but we could charge people for depositing there and then, because an offset would be is to have them do it at home.
Right.
And we
It-
sell
it-
composters for them to do it
It's easy
at
if you
home.
can
Yes.
do it. At,
where would we, like, where would it get dumped?
It'd have to be by the.
they take it.
Right,
Yep.
but like,
They'd have to supply a
So
container
they just
or
give you
something.
they
don't
just
they?
give you a
Right.
64-gallon cart,
Okay.
One of those
Okay.
and you
wheel.
have like a
Yeah.
little kitchen scrap bucket that's about this that
Okay.
you have in your house,
Yep.
and you can have a bag, and you can
Yep.
have a couple bags, and you can say I'm going each week or I'm going once a month.
oh.
And then I just put it in there like I have my returnables here, I have my food waste here. So Westboro's been doing this for
Mm.
like 3 years.
And they just dump that container, or do they
Yeah,
bring
so
a
they
fresh
just-
one? Because we don't have running water.
Yeah.
So rinsing that out if people are just dumping into it,
Thought of
that
that.
would
Yeah.
get nasty.
Yeah.
You could probably have either way.
Okay.
It could. I think they could do either way. Or and I think their truck
Mhm.
has its own washing ability.
Mm. I
So-
mean, I would consider it. I mean, right
And-
now, it would be a straight up additional cost until we could demonstrate that people are actually pulling the food scraps out of their trash.
Right.
Yeah.
So for us, I think it would be,
Right.
Well, composting is different than food scraps.
Well,
Yeah,
Black
so there
Earth
is
does
too.
compost. They
So-
collect food scraps and then they compost it.
Correct.
So
Yeah. So when we normally say a home compost
Meat
bin,
and bones.
no meat, no
No.
bone, no
Right.
dairy, but the industrial composter can take all of that.
right.
Oh,
So that is a different thing that he could take if you had your steak and you had your chicken
He
and you
could
had your
take, so it's
fish.
a
He
different
could take
program for him?
all your.
Or
The-
they
right.
do already.
They do that right now.
That's part of their thing. So
Yeah.
their container can be
So
all
if
that
they are
stuff.
taking it, they can process it because
Yep.
they're hotter and they're monitoring it, and it's indoors and it's a whole facility in Groton.
Okay.
So then all the vectors and all the things are cooked out.
Sure. And can they take
Interesting.
those compostable things like the waxy cardboard and that stuff? Can that go in
We've
there?
had
Oh,
a
there
different
you go.
discussion about
Yeah.
that, and I want to say it was, I think we said 2 years ago, absolutely. Things have changed with PFAS.
Oh, sure.
So it depends if it's real wax
Okay.
or if it's make-believe wax. It's a chemical that is PFAS sprayed on
okay.
it. So I think he'll say no right this minute.
Yeah.
So there's a list that they
Okay.
keep updating, and they do their own test on PFAS.
Okay.
That is just so new.
Right.
Before I was not even allowed to say the word.
Exactly.
What's their policy
You open
on-
the door, right?
What's their
Yeah.
policy on contaminants in it? Like, so like if people don't put the right things in there, like say they put in their plastic silverware because they dumped
Right.
the leftovers from their takeout meal. And
They,
there's other
they
stuff
have
in
a
there.
whole procedure, and they'll probably have the education, and then if it's in there,
If it keeps-
they'll do their own sifting out of
Right,
stuff.
but I would imagine at some point, if it continues to be abused, that they would want to address that, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
Sure.
they'll probably continually
Yeah,
when he does a
okay.
dump and he sees stuff. Hey, this
Yep.
is stuff that needs to be addressed.
Okay, all right.
Um,
Because that would be my concern, is that people don't do, I mean, I already see what they do
Exactly.
in their recycling. So I can only imagine what they would consider, compostable.
There's some
Like they'll
really
put a
good
radio in
videos,
there.
and they have it and saying, hey, if you're going to participate, because they have a lot of curbside people, and so they do a lot of education that way as well.
Okay,
I would actually recommend to do like a mailer to everybody in the community of saying, hey, we have a great transfer station. Participate.
yeah.
Do
Keep
have you
everybody's
done the cost? Because sometimes they look at their one bill that they get every month or every quarter, and they're like, oh, that's less than your bill, but your bill's a year bill. So sometimes they're like, oh, I'm only paying $150
Oh, yeah.
a month.
Yeah, right.
You know?
Right.
Oh, I don't remember. I pay that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Right.
the whole year, and they don't understand that.
Absolutely.
You
Right.
can also be more strict in your rules and saying, hey, yes, this is I have had a couple communities say a certain amount. You know, it's not a free for all. You can only bring 6 bags.
Oh.
If you're going to have more than that, you got to
There's
start.
a fee.
There's a fee for
Up,
that.
over.
You can say, hey,
Yeah,
we
but
don't want any abuse. You know, everybody that's coming here pays the flat fee, and we don't have pay as you throw right now. We are looking at pay as you throw, and you know what's so funny? Having the discussion of going pay as you throw
Makes people.
makes people change. So I've had a couple towns
I'm
like
trying to scare people
Westboro.
already. I see people when they pull in with their big pickup truck full of stuff, I'll say to them, oh, you're gonna be sad when we go to pay as you throw.
I was gonna say, they like doing
Oh,
the
I
trash
know,
for the
I-
neighborhood.
I-
It's just
You need to
really
get a Reaper
amazing
mask
for
or-
Westboro.
I've talked to people about it already.
No, he does, yeah.
Stanley's
I'm prepping
great.
him. I'm
Uh,
prepping him.
Yeah.
He,
Oh, I had
uh,
a guy really push back on me and was saying that, I pay my taxes and, it should be all included and blah, 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 and.
And you could talk to, because right now it seems like you don't have any taxes a part of
We
this.
do a little bit. The payroll is paid for by taxes.
Oh,
some of it,
okay.
yeah.
We're not totally self-sustaining.
Okay.
Yep.
Good. So then you get a little benefit, a little. The insurance paid for that, so that's good. That's good. Okay.
He works. He gets no benefits, but he should.
I know. There is a big difference when you're part of the Board of Health versus the DPW. Board of Health, you really are just paid by the hour.
Right.
DPW, you get all the benefits.
Well,
So-
they're not.
Well, I mean, if I wanted it, I could get, I just don't choose to.
Okay.
I just don't choose to take that. No.
There you go.
The other thing is a survey to see people in town, just to ask if they want a different time. Like sometimes people's schedules are
Yep.
just strange, and if you added just another hour here
Right. And
or
we've
an
done
hour
that. We
there.
actually
We-
did
we
change.
already did
we
that.
changed Thursday to add Thursday evenings and change the hours, and
Yeah.
I think it's been pretty well received because it was 2 days in a row of 12 to 5, and that just didn't seem to do
So
much. and
now
everybody had to come
that
on
has been
Saturdays.
educated for the people that are using the transfer station,
Yeah.
but,
But not
has not
for
to the
sure,
whole town.
absolutely.
Oh, it's on the
No.
website.
Yeah, but
Right.
some
But
people
again-
don't know that and be
Yeah.
like, oh, I could never go because I'm working.
Right,
Right.
And then I'm like, oh, did you know we have a Thursday evening
right.
drop off?
So
I mean,
Sally-
all
You're
you,
like,
all you have to do is look at the fact that we sell 400 and something stickers,
We-
and there's
we try to
1,500
give every-
households to
Yeah.
tell you.
days, you
We're
know,
clearly not reaching some people
we're
because
selling more
because we are the
stickers
most
than that.
cost-effective method to
Exactly.
get rid of your
Yeah.
trash in
We
town,
sold
and
like about 800 though.
well, that
stickers.
includes people who are buying two.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah.
But
and that's what we need to make sure that number is right,
Right.
because
Oh,
last
right.
year it was 801.
It's
And
single,
we're really
it's
at
single
60,
household stickers
640.
that we,
Right.
that's the number we
Right,
want.
that's
Not
Yeah.
the,
Right.
for the second or third
Yeah.
car, that's,
Yeah, because the FY '25 are only 6 months.
Yeah.
So we will get more, but it's not going
it's
to be
not gonna be much.
substantially
We
more.
saw,
No.
I mean, I think there were 3 in this envelope.
Right.
The other thing that is, I think people are so much more visual, and it was really nice. Both Mendon did this. We just did this in Westboro. Westboro went pay as you throw in July, and so the Board of Health chair went to the transfer station, had the local cable come and be like, "We're gonna do a little video," and it's like, "Welcome to our transfer station. This is what changed." And when they went pay as you throw, is you had your black bag. It is now the burgundy bag. Buy your burgundy bag at the store, come here, and he just walked around the transfer station with the video, and the cable company did a great job. They had music, they had like little boxes here where you buy stuff. It was 7 minutes. I'd say I would really like it to be like at 4 minutes. And it could be a little faster. So,
Right,
you
right.
know, because people's attention is just so much
Oh, yeah.
shorter.
Board.
Getting shorter every year.
But it's really easy and cheap, and it's just really a great thing to just share around with Facebook pages and being like, "Did you know we have the transfer station? Look at what's here." And so if they have a tour of it, they're like, "Oh, I didn't know they took that. I didn't know they took that." The other thing is Groton did one for each section, so you have a place for all the different bins and things like that. They just have it down. Oh, I want to know about textiles, and so it's just 20 seconds. They're just there. This is the bin. This is what you can put into it, and boom. And they just have each item
As a separate.
has a separate thing, so you can click on it and being like, oh, look at that. And so then they
Yeah,
had
I like
different
that.
people
Yeah.
so it wasn't just one person. It was all different people were like, I'm gonna take the returnables. I'm gonna take this.
Right.
This is scrap metal. It's like we want you to be safe. If you really, we don't want you to be in the bin. If
Yeah.
there's something that you're like, I need to have it, please talk to somebody and maybe we can take it out for you. But this is how the swap shed works, you know, and things like that. And it just makes it really easy to have those visual things. And like I said, the local cable and sometimes the tech school or the high school's graphic design class.
I was gonna
Would
say,
do
why
that
don't
as
you
a project.
include the students?
Yeah,
just
no,
like we're
that's,
including
we,
the students
Board
here.
of-
Vocational,
Conservation
anyway,
and,
yeah, all of 'em.
they've
Yeah.
actually reached out to
Yeah.
Tohoto, and they're trying to work
Perfect.
on a.
Assabet too. I mean,
Yeah, the town now has a
My daughter's
newsletter
involved
too,
in that,
so
so
we
she
put
was-
some
What grade is
articles
she in?
into
Yeah.
the
Well, she's
newsletter.
in, she's
We had a whole
graduated,
big
but she's
section
in
on the take
environmental
it or leave
studies,
it.
and she wants
Great.
to
So if
encourage
they
that,
read
so
the
she's
Now,
newsletter.
liaison to the school.
did you do that in the
contact,
past
but also
since
part of
July?
Yeah,
That newsletter?
yeah.
Write down the date of that newsletter, and we use that for the
Yeah, team
education.
system.
So we'll ask you what was the date of that newsletter.
We had
So
a.
if you
And you
know.
get
Two or
points for
three of
that
them.
too.
You get points for that.
Yeah, oh, good,
Cool.
good, okay.
So we
Yeah,
can
'cause
get you
I-
up to 10
Cause
points.
I think it was October, I have it in the desk drawer,
Yeah.
but don't quote me.
Yeah, but you already have the compost bins being sold.
Yep.
Is
Yep.
there a cap on points?
So I can go through the list here quick.
We won't hit it.
Just curious.
5 right
Yeah.
now.
No, we have different categories, so
Yeah.
you can't get like you have to get one in that category. You can't like take everything in that grouping.
Donna, were you talking about
I didn't mean to
the
side
town
rails, I didn't.
administrators
Yeah.
newsletter?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, cause I think she puts that on the website.
But that's
and-
education, right?
Right,
Yeah.
yeah, and
Yeah.
I saved the one that we.
Good,
My kids
because
can
I
do the
think
put and
there's
take portion
more
of it.
information that we could
Yeah, 'cause
utilize that
February-
for.
Probably see my
We
daughters,
need
you
to,
probably see my
yeah.
daughters.
So I can
Olivia
give you
has
the thing.
Lonnie's.
So this is the new spring. You're not going to be able to see it.
No.
It's a one document. It's a worksheet, and this is for spring 2025 bulky waste. So you get that already. You charge people $5 for
Okay.
bulky items that they're going to put into the thing. Charm items. Now that you're a charm, a center for hard to recycle materials. Your drop off is a charm,
Okay.
and you take certain
I don't
things.
think that applies to you.
He's charming.
Extra
Yeah,
points
there
for
you go,
that?
yeah.
So some of the things like you take here already, and the one thing that's great that we just added in the charm is it doesn't necessarily need to be at the transfer station. So if something's collected at the DPW, like is oil collected at the DPW?
No.
Not at this time. There are a few people that burn waste oil, and a lot of people bring it to them, but no, we don't take waste oil. You know, the town
Yes,
doesn't
we've
as we
already-
know it
we've already
now.
started it.
Okay, so that's
Yeah.
exactly what I'm looking at. So you already have one. Now for the charm mercury items, I have you guys that you take the bulbs and things like that.
Yeah, I've got one for that.
You take automotive items, but you don't take, you take the car tires and the batteries.
Yep.
Yeah.
But we're looking for a place for oil and antifreeze. Is there any other place in town that takes oil or antifreeze?
There's a couple that will take oil as long as it's clean. There's a
Yeah.
couple, you know,
I don't think anybody
filling
takes
station,
antifreeze,
but
though.
you have to know, you know, and actually where they buy it, they're supposed to take it back.
Yeah.
You know, like if they buy it in advance, or,
Yeah.
you know, doesn't matter, but they're, wherever they bought,
But we need to have something in town. So if the DPW just had like their
Like
own
that.
little bin
And not for-
Yeah.
and being
not
like,
oil.
I will
Okay, that's
take
fine.
it
No,
there or
sorry,
something
not
like
oil,
that,
just for
We
like-
did
you
that
could get a
years
credit
ago,
for it.
everybody would
Yeah.
mix stuff though, you know,
Yep.
antifreeze and oil, which
Yep.
Yes.
it didn't,
That's the best.
you know, that wasn't working good for the, you know, the people that were burning it as waste oil, you know,
Yep.
so,
You take your books.
okay.
Yep.
You take your electronics. You have propane tanks, but you don't have fire extinguishers. So now the one thing is just talking to your propane guy to see if you could take fire extinguishers.
Okay.
So that would be, that would help. You take batteries, and that's a big thing where we're right now telling people we're gonna have a state education on batteries on February 25th. So an email will go out. So it'd be great to have everybody on that.
Lithium based and the alkaline
Yeah.
and the buttons.
Yeah.
All of it.
So one of the things that we are now finding is just making sure that they're safely packaged, and that the company Call to Recycle is probably what you're using, the box to put them in.
Completely.
And you need to take a training on that to get the box, and that there is a cost, and you can use the recycle RDP money to help with that box as well. Anything in Charm, you can use RDP money for.
Okay.
So if, for transportation
Yeah.
or processing or anything like that.
And you get points for taking, correct?
Yep.
I mean, okay.
So you take scrap metal.
Yep.
And you take mattresses.
Yep.
And I have down paint. Do you guys have a
We do
paint?
latex.
Just
Yeah,
latex,
latex
latex.
Dried latex.
Dried
So
latex.
dried as trash.
That's trash.
Okay, but not as things. So we have to make sure when we do the form that you do not actually take paint for recycling. I have a couple
Right, I
towns
saw that.
that will, Wachusett Earth Day and West Boylston does do paint, latex paint that people can take, and then they have a recycler that will come. So if you have like a whole big gallon, they say this is good. You can like swap it out. You're like, oh, I like that color. Good, take it, take it, take it.
We don't have a heated area where we can
Yep.
store that.
Yep, and that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. And you guys don't have anything for shredded paper, right?
Yeah.
Shredded
scrap
paper
pa-
goes in with our regular paper.
I know,
Yeah,
but
not
we
as
have to have it separated. This is about separating things.
Cardboard, yeah.
Yeah, you're
Why does shredded paper have to be separated?
so because it's like confetti at the machine. So if they take it separated, like if you have somebody that comes in and they have it bagged up, then it will be recycled easier. Versus when it's all together and with paper, it just it'll just become confetti all over.
We've been requiring that shredded paper is bagged,
Is bagged,
but it
yeah.
doesn't always happen.
Right,
But
and you're putting
most
it back
people-
into all the paper.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. It's if you have something in town, like sometimes there is a bank that has a shredding event. You can, if you publicize that on the town website or on social media, you can get that credit. The Christmas lights, you can put them with the electronics.
You can.
But do you just have a little box so it's not just a free for all
Okay.
before? If you just have like a little box that says holiday lights
Yeah.
and just have that, and at the end of the day put it in with the thing, that's fine as long as it's kind of separated for a bit.
But we pay to get rid of our electronics now, so you're saying, so we would just be paying them to take the Christmas lights?
Yeah, is anything with a plug should go with your electronics.
How does all of this roll back into pay as you throw?
I give you extra points. This is the point grant where we're talking about what the thing is, so you can kind of see the checklist. We're in here.
Okay.
And I think I had down, I don't know if I had yard waste. No yard waste right now. Everybody
Well,
has
the
their
wire
own.
is copper,
Well,
right?
they take
Yard waste is
grass
what?
clipping,
No,
right?
I mean,
Yeah,
Grass clipping
take
and leaves.
grass.
Take grass
Yeah.
clipping and leaves,
yeah.
Not,
but not brush.
Yep.
not, okay.
we take Christmas trees, and the town
Shred.
will usually, shred them,
What were you guys
Oh, no,
We-
they, grass.
not as many
clippers,
people
they
buying
take the
Christmas trees
leaves.
anymore.
Yeah.
Leaves.
So you got it. Yeah, you have 8. If you can get 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
nothing like
So if we were able to get the fire extinguisher and something for the oil, I think that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We need one or the other to get 10, and then you'd
Yeah.
get another point.
Yeah,
And
only
and
get
that
the
I
one
think would be
point.
like $600. So if
Yeah,
there's
that's
some
worth it.
place for you, if you can get the little box for the Christmas holiday lights, and we can talk about the fire extinguisher. Even if there's like a little cost of less than $300, then you'd make a
Sure.
you'd make money
Yeah.
for that.
Because I've only got 5 points as of right now.
Never thought of
Yeah.
fire
So I'm
extinguishers,
hoping we
right?
get
And you can get, if we do the HOLA regulations, that's an extra 1 point to just adopt
But-
it. And
She's
then
saying we have 9.
Huh?
She's
last
saying we
year
have
you
9.
had
We have
6.
9.
Oh,
And
so
I've
Okay,
only-
okay, I'm sorry.
I've only got 5 right now.
Yeah. In the categories,
If we go-
some of them have,
what we
you have to
talked
get a
about,
certain
we could
amount
get
in
up
that
to
one
9.
box.
And
Okay.
if we do
So
the-
last year,
the
in the whole
lights,
program, you
Right,
got
but
6.
10.
Okay.
But it's
So,
like
yeah,
up to
in
8
that
you
one
get
box.
12 you get to.
yeah.
Right. Right.
Oh,
Yeah,
12.
so that-
I think I think you're just gonna get 8
Yeah,
this
that's
year,
what I
and
was-
that's probably
yeah,
right. Okay.
yeah.
And that's okay.
Yep.
And like I said,
We're
there could
trying.
be something else in town. Like we were talking about paint. If the recreation department collected paint because they're going to use it for kids' crafts and stuff like that, you could get credit for that. If they say, "Hey, bring me," a gallon of paint is like $90 right now.
That's ridiculous.
Right.
Wow.
yeah,
If
right.
the school department or the recreation department for the summer program wants to do a mural, wants to do different things, they need paint. You know, they could create. You'd be like, just have it on the website that
Use
you
it out,
collect,
yeah.
and say, people, bring your paint here. We'll work on it, or
Like
and
a
that could be
storage.
indoor, warm, and you're not.
Storage,
Yeah.
that's the big thing, yeah.
We talked about the DEI. We were talking about that if you had something of a different language, you get the credit if you have 3 activities. So what the activities are, right now, your transfer station fee is based on household, seniors. So you have transfer station to come in is a senior sticker and a thing. But if you had a low income and said, you could have on the bottom here of case by case if there is a low income
No,
thing.
we've tried that before.
We don't wanna know that information.
I understand.
But
No,
we-
I understand.
It's not our business,
Yeah.
Right.
really.
But we do have one person this year, so can we claim that? Because he paid the full sticker price, but he had 6 months apart.
Did it in 2 payments.
So would that?
So it's a
No.
case by case. So it could be of. The one thing is, it'd have to be new. Like, I understand you don't want to know, but they could go and see the town administrator or
The
the senior
assessors
councils
or
or somebody else
Yeah,
that they're
the
in
assessors
some type
don't
of
want
program.
anything to do
Yeah.
But you
I
guys are
know.
such a good program. Like, other people are paying $380 to $500 to their basic and curbside's at $700. So
We should go up just on our sticker price.
yeah, you could
I bet,
easily
yeah.
go up.
No,
I think we should.
I know if
adopt a
We
lot of
did
these.
last year, so I mean,
That's right.
there's incentive to maybe do it this year. But we'll
So
see.
if we post.
Well, our rates have gone up.
On
The
a different
hauling
language,
rates is
just
supposed to
as-
be
Right.
local.
Right.
you just put,
$20.
you know, the
Multi-
Portuguese on your website.
The Recycle Smart and the Beyond the Bin.
Yep.
We could get that a point.
And then you need 3 this year. So if some things have added, you just go to the school and just give this guide. It's kind of fun. You know what you could do is take this to the class of the Spanish class and say, can you translate this as part of like an assignment? They give it back to you. And then you give it back to the school and say, pass this out to the
There you go.
Spanish.
Yeah, but it worked, yeah.
It does, and that's
Mm.
free. You didn't really do anything, and then you guys have your own,
Yep.
and they use it as a classic. So that's one thing that can get you another point. And like I said, they've moved up to.
See, that's a tough thing.
The other category is hazardous waste. So if you went in with Devon's, you could get 2 points. Ashburnham just went in. I don't know the cost, but I think they also said if that first year was too much, I think they spaced that over a time frame. Like, it doesn't have to be paid all at once, all front.
When you say Devon's, is that the town of Devon's? Or
Yeah.
The
something inside
household
Devon's?
has.
Household
new-
hazardous waste in Devon's. It's
Yeah.
pretty much still operated by Devon's.
No, Marlboro has their hazmat. Are they open to other towns?
They're
joining?
only open for their member towns, so right now they have 12 member communities.
Marlboro does, yeah.
No,
No,
Devon's.
I'm talking about Marlboro because I know they have hazmat day a couple times
So
a year.
Holden, no, not Holden, Hudson and Marlboro go together.
Okay.
If you wanted to talk to Ted and see if you guys, if that's easier, and just to say, hey, could we join in? You could do that.
Can you give me that contact
Yeah.
information?
And
Ted,
it-
But we have
do you
to
know
do that
the-
twice
uh,
a year,
yeah.
right? To get the points.
That's only 2 times a year.
Yeah.
You would
Twice a
get
year.
that point. You'd get 1 point for having 2 times a year.
And
Yeah.
how much is the initial
It's
fee
just
there?
closer
Do you
to that
know,
than
for,
Devon's.
like, for
Yeah.
Marlboro?
And-
What-
And Devon's
No.
is pricey.
Because
No, that-
they've kind of paid in their
part of-
Talk
taxes.
to,
I'm part of
talk
that
to the
Marlboro.
guy
Oh,
that
okay.
she's gonna give us
Oh,
the
okay.
information.
Definitely. All right.
So that's
I-
Marlboro.
Yep.
Agency, so we do all the radio communication.
That is
for
closer,
those.
Yeah,
so
'cause I worked for the town of
Might
Stowe
work
and I
a little
part
bit.
of Devon's and I live in Clinton at the time.
Organics. So now here's some different points available. If you have, what you guys right now have is offering compost bins, you get 1 point. So that's what you got last time.
Yep.
If you now add food waste collection at a municipal center and you offer compost bins, you get 2 points. So you could have the collection at the transfer station, but if you feel like the senior center has more organics, you know, because they're doing foods and stuff like that,
We don't have a senior
Okay.
center.
or
What,
Something-
what if
waste.
we had like one of our composters at the transfer station that people could
actively
It
used.
has to be.
actively used.
It has
I
to
think
be
it'd be
hauled.
filled up,
It
it has to be moved.
hauled.
It's gotta be hauled out.
Yeah, otherwise we're gonna attract rodents and
Yeah.
And
We
we're
can't-
gonna,
There you go,
we're
there you
gonna have
go.
to process it.
No, that's
Now,
fine, that's
We want
that's
hands
great
off
answer.
on that.
Exactly.
We're not looking to increase the
But it's just an
number.
easy
That's
thing
fine.
to add.
Right, and the black earth.
Yeah.
Mayday
people could
chickens.
give us
The
bid.
other, another point is,
Chickens will eat anything.
I say, you just wanna get the word
Amazing.
out that your center is open to get the people that live in town.
Yeah.
You could open to non-residents and make them charge more. So you're only charging $280, you could charge, I mean, $215.
15, yeah.
You can say $350, $300 for a non-resident. You know, you could have a one-day pass. You could say local businesses could come in if they're like
We
a
get
small.
points for this? So
Yeah,
Is this because you're encouraging just the use of a transfer station?
yeah.
as
We want
opposed
people to have access. So like Stowe has no place to go.
Gotcha.
Boylston at the right now just has Wachusett Earth Day. So like I
Yeah.
said, I have a senior who just has one grocery bag a week,
Right.
and he has to pay $700. He has to. There's no other option
Wow,
for him.
yeah.
He has to pay.
And that
it.
comes out of their taxes and
No,
Boylston,
no. They pay their
They
own.
have to, no kidding.
So
So
just
they-
by
they-
having that program, it doesn't matter if anyone signs up for an out-of-towner, just by having that available gains the town a point.
Correct.
So
Yep.
there's no minimum threshold that they have
Nope.
to achieve.
Nope.
Okay.
I had Douglas did put a stipulation on it, like we only want to take up to 100 people. Like, but nobody, that was not 100 people
Well,
that came.
fair enough. I mean, that's
Right, I mean,
smart.
Yeah.
because now you start talking about additional volume in the transfer
Because
station.
Yeah.
You might have
Right,
to have
yeah.
extra
Yeah.
labor, you might have to be
Right.
open another
So,
day.
so
I mean,
even if you said 50, we can have 50
Right.
externals,
Right.
and no one signs up, you're still qualifying
Yep.
for it.
Yeah.
Sounds like it.
Yep.
There's a chunk of Boylston that's immediately adjacent to Berlin.
Yes.
There
That would make
More
make a lot of
sense.
sense
Yeah.
to those residents.
To open
You know,
it
you go
up.
down Linden
Yeah.
Street and there's
It's a good idea.
Yeah.
Well, the other
50
thing
houses.
that, like I said, April, the town administrator in
Boylston.
Boylston is right now putting out the curbside program. We could just see what that would look like
Yeah.
if it was be like, could
Working.
couple people here, could join in. I mean, the thing is that hurts the transportation a bit, but sometimes what it could do is what they did in Hudson. So Hudson has a full curbside program and a full drop-off program. What they said is the curbside program's a 64-gallon and you have to pay $400 a year for the service. The drop-off is $50 to go, maybe even $20. $20 to go, and you pay per bag. And so,
That's at BP. Or-
yeah, BP operates that, yeah.
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
And that could be something else to service more people, but we haven't talked to
So
Eric.
Boylston is implementing the curbside, or?
Boylston is putting out the RFP, it's supposed to do before the end of the month.
They don't have a transfer station.
They have,
No.
No.
they
have nothing.
are part of Wachusett Earth Day
Okay.
and West
There you go.
Boylston.
That's it.
So people can go there, but how many people actually go is still,
Yeah.
to do that. So reuse, you already get the swap shed.
Yeah.
So you get 2 points. If you have 3 activities,
We get 2 points for that?
no, sorry, you get 1 point for that. But if you do 3 activities, you get 2 points. So I know it's like playing a game.
Meaning,
I think that's what it's just
3
like-
activities.
Out
So
of
there's
the-
a
out
list
the
of
list,
activities.
Oh, okay. I'll
Yeah.
look at that. You
So
don't
some
worry.
of the
Yeah.
activities is the swap shed.
Yep.
You have I'm going down the list
Tool
of some things. A
library,
tool library. If your
right.
library has an event, if your school might have had a zero waste event or a reuse rodeo, then you could get the point. If they have dishwashers at the schools in your school district
Huh?
and they're using them, you get a point. That helps.
So how-
There you go.
So-
We
Is
have,
Oh,
there,
a
is there
community
a
yard sale.
major list,
Yeah, it's
a
right here.
consolidated list
yeah.
that
Donna's,
we can get?
Yeah, she has it right there.
Donna has.
Oh, okay.
I already emailed it a while ago.
That's
Oh,
terrific.
Yeah, I've already filled it out.
So-
part of the retrack program,
It's like
a lot of the reason we haven't done a lot of this
I can make a copy.
is there's me and Donna.
Yep.
You want me to?
Sometime.
Okay.
And that's why we're
You're
trying to
saying
get
you
it
guys are
that's,
roadblocks,
Donna
or you're
told
saying
us
there's
she
only the
because
two?
they got so much on their plate.
Do it when you get
They
it.
got-
It's not a big deal.
You just said the reason we're not doing it is me and Donna.
What?
Right.
What?
Because
What?
there's only Donna and I
now
trying
now
to
I
do
get it.
it all.
What do we-
And
And Sue thinks she's escaping in May.
She said the
but
reason we're
we're
not doing
not
this
sure
is
about that
this-
because
is that
Doing
there's me
what?
and
You
Donna.
You're like, I wanna
More of
retire.
this. More
I
of
am
the
retired.
Trying to get points.
Damn it.
She said the reason is it's me and Donna.
I am
I'll give you
not.
a copy of it too. It's very.
I
I
had
wanna-
somebody, maybe
I wanna
Peter,
try.
All right,
Is he
it's
put
very
Peter that used to be on the
difficult.
committee
We
here?
used to get a lot more
Yeah, we used
points
to
and
have
they keep
Peter here.
changing it because they want everyone to
Pete,
go to
you're
Pete's
talking-
phase.
Oh,
Yeah.
Jamali,
No.
yeah.
Pete
That's
quit.
why.
Yes. So on some of
Yeah,
these
so
things, I
it's
have
like-
Paul, and I think I just have a P and a P.
Oh.
So I
A little easier
sometimes
now. I can do
accidentally,
PNS.
there goes to an email that goes to Pete. and he
Don't
goes,
equip.
I am not part of the Board of Health
I was
anymore.
gonna say, don't equate them the
Whoops,
same either.
yeah.
I'm sorry, but I'm just like, sometimes an email will go,
Yeah,
because I've been here for so long, I have past emails.
Yeah.
So Stanley actually
It is
took
because,
Pete's
you know,
position and
Okay.
things have gone
So much better.
100%
but it.
better.
So one of the things that you get, if you have,
We'll figure it out.
a town yard sale. So sometimes the recreation department or the library or the kids program will have, like, we have Girl Scouts will put on a
The-
community yard
The
sale.
cultural
Yeah,
center we have up
Clinton
there,
does that.
Paul's into that. If they had one, would that consider?
So that you need to do
So it
3
has to be-
activities.
Yeah,
Right
that's
now,
what
you already
I
have the
have.
swap shed.
Oh,
I
does
think
it?
you have the
One.
tool library. Or,
No,
We
it's
had kind of
something-
furniture thing too.
could.
that,
Yeah.
You know, who comes and picks up our
Oh,
furniture if
oh.
we don't use it?
Fresh start.
Fresh start. So do we get points for that or?
it's part of a bigger program.
Okay.
Part of
It-
the charm program,
We
isn't
only
it?
get.
It is.
Okay, there you go. Yeah.
No,
It
I'm
is
just
kind of
thinking the
furniture.
tool library, we
Yeah.
don't.
I'm sorry.
But sometimes ask the librarian because they do add different things, and it can be really small.
Yeah.
Like just in the back, they like have tools for kitchen, tools for laundry, gardening. They have like special tools, and you're like, I just spent this like $20 for this
Right.
one tool, and I'm done
Yard
with
sale.
like
You know,
stained glass
I
working.
have to say, one of the things with a number of these things like that,
Mhm.
they're good ideas, but they require manpower.
And I'm trying to get
And
it's not
that
your
is
man
a-
pairing, right?
That is a real potential issue.
Yeah.
The
You
one
know,
thing is
who
if you do it
covers that?
once, it kind of does it on its own. So if you got the cultural center doing the program, you just need to do the small thing of getting it on the website and putting it on social media, and then just say yes, we have it.
Right, but we have to count on other
Like I say, our
people
swap,
to
Yeah.
our
implement.
swap shed does
Right.
a lot, but it's all volunteer.
Yeah.
They're
Right.
all volunteer there, but
Right.
we recycle and get, a lot
And
of
this,
stuff.
I think you said CMRK works with you.
Yeah.
Do they take all the leftovers? Do they go in there? 'Cause
Not
sometimes.
necessarily.
No.
If
Because
they're,
sometimes we have a box over here for CMRK and we have the swap
Oh,
shed,
they should
but
do
we
that.
don't actually say, it's spring cleaning time. Everything
So
in
they'll
there can
take-
go.
So they'll take all of that?
Everything, yeah.
Fresh,
Oh, man.
Fresh Start will occasionally come
Okay.
in and go through the take it
Yeah,
or leave
but-
it for household, but
Yeah.
they're a little picky, and I
They
understand
are.
why. You
Yep.
know, they pick and choose,
Right.
and they're
Where-
very,
what is
they're
CMRK?
serving a very specific,
The textile company takes toys and household items as well.
and they
and
sell and
brings it.
ship them all over the world.
I
Yeah.
don't think
So, I mean,
CMRK
ranchers go
does, I
through
think
their
it's just
kitchen away
textile.
barrels.
No, they
full
take
of
everything.
coffee mugs
Do they?
and-
Yeah,
They
and they
take
actually
toys
even
and
have
We
a
gotta-
storefront,
We should-
Not a-
we
not a-
could rein that
a
in.
donation
absolutely
center
should.
in Shrewsbury.
Is that
Okay, so
probably-
we may wanna
that's
look
probably
into
2
that
tons a
to
year.
see
Yeah.
what else they can take.
Yeah.
what's that?
Cause they
That's
have a,
Stanley?
they
Stuff
have a
that's getting
sign.
thrown away out of the
Right.
swap shack,
It-
that,
Right.
because when they purge their inventory, and
Yeah.
they're not sending it off to
Oh,
CMRK.
oh.
Right,
Okay,
and
maybe
see,
they're not
probably
sure.
the bin's like right there, and you can kind
Yeah.
of say,
We
sometimes it just says box it all up, or sometimes they'll do it. It just depends on how good your stuff is.
Cool.
Well, I can reach out to CMRK and talk to them
Yeah.
about what
Oh,
else we
that
can
would
do
be,
with them.
yeah.
Okay, so I know that this is, I have like 2 more categories
mean-
left. So the other one is pay as you throw, and you can get 5 points for that if you had a curbside, if you had a town pay as you throw program.
Yeah.
The other is the waste education. So we were talking about the education here is you have a dedicated link for Beyond the Bin,
Okay.
for Recycle Smart, and now this other thing is called a widget. It's the Recycle Smart widget. When you go on the site, it is it's like a directory, and it's a recyclopedia. You can put in cup. Can a cup be recycled? And it'll say, well, if it is paper cup,
It'll look at the
if it's a clear, like my iced coffee cup, rinse it and you can recycle it. But if it is the red Solo cup, it's trash. So it can go into that detail. We have
So
over
the-
Is it really?
700
Stolen
items.
cups are trash?
It's
Yeah.
crazy.
They're also sixes, and we only do ones through fives, but,
Okay.
yeah.
So yeah, so
I have a question.
Oh, there you go.
If I
Yeah.
just may. How many towns that have gone to pay as you go have reverted back to not?
in central, I'd say
Question.
about 2, maybe 3.
Okay.
And the reason for Central Mass, it was they didn't know the bag program. Like it was before we have it on state contract. So the bags are sold in retailers now. And I've had a couple when Blackstone went, they kept it at the Board of Health office. So they had everybody in town come in, and so in a week they're like, "Get out! I have work to
Well,
do."
she's only part-time too, I mean.
Yeah, and so that was like.
Yeah, we gotta.
That was like a no-go,
Time's up.
and it was just really sad because they just needed to know that it
It is.
would
Lights off.
be
There you
that it could be done in the retailers, and so when you buy milk, you buy your bags at the same time, so it's not an extra thing. It's just you're doing it while you're doing your shopping. But that was just miscommunication. You know, it just wasn't there. The infrastructure wasn't set. They were doing it in 2000.
6 categories.
I had Shirley did it. They had a curbside program, and they had a really good program. It was very cheap and it worked out really well. The town administrator was new, and the town treasurer was new, and they came from a town that everybody had nice 64-gallon carts, and they said, we're missing this. I want my town to have all these carts. And so they're like, forget the bag program, everybody pay $3.50. So we had it that everybody only had to pay $1 for a bag, and now they're at $350 a year
For a cart.
for a
But
cart.
they're
and
mixing everything in,
Yep.
so someone else has to sort it,
So I got
yeah.
0.
But that was my initial question to
And
you.
so
is like,
they reverted. They went down 50%, and in 3 years they're back to where they were in 2010. I was like, I worked so hard with you guys, and they just reverted back. And so there's just a few of those of just, it's not. We've had a couple towns that Northborough actually, when they first went, people were like, "Oh, I can't handle this. This is not good." They're like, "We're gonna have a referendum. We're gonna have this whole big thing." They got enough signatures to have a referendum, but it's like all we did was go from the black bag to the blue bag. It works. Where I bought my black
it'd be big of a
bags
culture shock.
is where I buy my
Does
green bags.
Northborough have a,
Pay-as-you-throw program. They're curbside.
Right,
their curbside pickup,
but,
okay, I
but
see.
in
Yeah,
Berlin,
that's
it's
different.
like where
It's a
would
huge
they buy
culture
the
shock.
bags? You know,
Well,
the general
like she said, you had to be in the
store.
general store.
Wherever you go food
Yeah.
shopping, wherever you
Oh.
get
I know,
milk.
I know.
Well, I don't.
Market
Market
basket.
basket, is
Yeah, but
that
that's
in Berlin
actually in
or is that
Hudson, yeah.
Regulations,
Yeah, so
regulations.
that's
Yeah,
what
we
it
have
is.
very little in
Yeah, there's
Berlin.
Yeah,
two-
and that's just like Harvard.
Two
Well, we need
places.
Yeah, the general store,
Yeah.
same
Right.
thing.
But we can sell them at the transfer station, right?
Right, and we could
You
sell them
could.
here.
Yeah.
I try to say not to, but that it could be done.
Right.
And
Well,
I'd almost think the
So
transfer station's a destination. You're going there to drop your
I
bags
know.
off,
Seems
and to turn
kinda
your words back
logical.
on you. I'm already there. Let me buy some
Kinda
bags.
seems
Yeah.
logical.
We need to have somebody to deal with that
Well,
though,
true.
because
Like you say, checks and.
as it is, you know, when Stan's there by himself,
Right.
he turns his back for 5 minutes and
then
somebody's
he
getting
drops
rid
the
of
refrigerator.
something that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
people are
Yeah.
sneaky.
No, I know,
so
I
what
heard
they
that.
do on the Cape, which I find is very interesting, is they have a vending machine.
Oh,
So
really?
They just have a vending machine, and you can just put your tag in, and they're
Oh,
going
no
like, "So I
kidding.
just got my soda. I just got my bags." And so
But we're going to tax in the soda.
Yeah.
there's no tax on the bags.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
No tax on the bags as a service.
I've already inquired of a couple of the general store would be willing to sell bags.
How about,
Market Basket would be, although that's not official, but I've got the corporate contact,
there-
and I have the corporate contact name for Lowe's, because those would be the,
Maybe
Three
Nori,
closest-
maybe Noria.
Is-
yeah.
is anyone considering, like, maybe even a tax, is there a potential tax write-off for using bags for the individual end user? If I have to incur a more expense to buy bags, there's nothing, we're being taxed, the whole
But you're
town's
not
being.
paying
But
for
you,
the sticker.
yeah, I was gonna say.
Well,
We're gonna
you're
reduce the sticker
You're not
fee.
taxed on
Right,
your sticker.
Right,
so-
because you have to pay for the bags anyway, so instead of buying your black bags, you're buying your green bags. So it should be a wash.
Yeah.
But to see.
But
where-
now you have control over it, so this is where the fairness comes in. Is
Yeah.
right now you pay the $2.15, and it doesn't matter if you put out 1 bag a week
Right.
or 1 grocery bag a week,
Or you charge someone a
or
lot
you put out
less,
20 bags a week. It's the same.
Or you charge the elderly person a lot less.
which-
Like
well-
$20 a year would be a lot more feasible than having pay as you
We have a
go.
lot of
But you
seniors
have a
in
lot of
town.
people that it's the opposite.
Yeah.
So
Right.
I have a large family, and then I had my mother-in-law, and my dad living with me. So if my dad went and said, "I'm getting the senior sticker," because he was 80 years old, got the senior
entire
sticker,
household is
and
going
he got the whole house
Yeah,
of
we-
10 of us.
That
know
happens
that.
here. We know
Exactly.
that's here.
Yeah.
And
that's
then
one
you
of the
have
things.
you have somebody that's just by themselves. Yeah, I'm working, but
Right.
I'm just by myself and I'm paying. So you get the fairness of like if you're a senior, you have the smaller bag
Right.
and you use
Do
that.
you expect to achieve 100% fairness?
Well,
That
it-
would be-
Well, the people that
It's not
feel that it's
now.
not fair for them will leave the program.
Okay. Because I think that's unrealistic
Yeah,
to
no,
expect
no,
100%
right.
fairness.
Because I also think,
Okay.
like where I live, I have to buy trash stickers. That's a pain.
Yeah.
You know, I have to
It
go
is.
run down to Cumbies. I don't go to Cumbies, you know, or I have to go to.
But they don't even,
Sometimes at
do-
Hannaford.
does it have to be a certain bag size too
No,
for the
I have to
stickers?
buy just a sticker.
Yeah.
Bigger bags require more stickers, right?
Well,
Yeah,
there's a
something like
limit.
that in
But
Clinton, I
it's
think
like,
now,
I
yeah.
just think, I can vision the pushback. Well, I don't wanna have to go here to buy, I
No,
don't wanna
it's
do
gonna be
this, I don't wanna
pushback
do
for
this.
sure.
I
But
don't
that's
wanna
what you
do
just
that.
say is wherever you normally buy your groceries or your milk or soda.
But some people may go to Aldi's.
Well, I
You
think,
know, it's
Stanley
like,
should be able to charge,
Yeah.
like,
I don't know.
like normal week, then you see someone coming with a pickup truck like this. Bolton did it before they went to, pay as you throw, but if you had a pickup truck full of, it was $50.
Right.
On
Right, That's
top-
what I said. One of your things that
per
you could
week,
just do is you
for
could just
bulky
over a
items,
bag,
so.
like-
you could just say
hit a
there's a
certain amount
change
of bags.
here that this is per household, and you can do like a check to being like, hey, we're gonna do a check every 6 months that it's you got your sticker. You know?
Yeah, well, they get their sticker, but some, like you're saying, some people bring in like,
They're
one
cleaning
bag, and then
house.
you got, well, cleaning everybody's house, you think sometimes, and they come in, and people do move, and they do that, but,
maybe this should be. a
Stanley ought to be able
surcharge.
to charge,
Like, hit a certain amount
you know,
of
to
bags
get
a week.
over,
Maybe.
if you're over this amount, it's like, you got a bulky waste right there, I mean.
Yeah,
Right,
I mean,
like a
we can charge
surcharge,
for
yeah.
that sort of stuff. Things
Yeah.
that go in the bulky waste, we already can charge. We don't
Right.
charge for too many bags per week. That's
Right.
the thing we
Right, I
just don't
think
do.
maybe
Maybe
that's.
But
we
my-
need a
Right.
limit.
Well, there might be, but my initial question
Maybe
for
we
you was
should.
like, how have towns gone from a sticker with as unlimited bags?
Yep.
To pay as you throw? I assume they still have a somewhat of a sticker price, right? Because
Yep.
you're paying for you still have to
Right.
pay to recycle and do that. But then how do they do the analysis of how, or what do you consider, like what's an average number of bags per week from a household? Because if we have to.
1.5. It is unbelievable.
Is that what, yeah?
1.5
Okay.
is the average,
So
and
if
that's
we-
the industrial average. And it's just it really kind of keeps on coming back to that.
1.5.
So if we figured out the numbers to say that an average family would be 1.5, and we equated the sticker price and 1.5 bags to come out to be close to what we're currently charging,
Right.
then it would be, then now you're looking at an equitable situation where your average person is paying for an average amount, and then people who are using less are gonna pay less, because if they're not gonna use a full bag, they're gonna pay less. And if people are gonna use 7 bags, they're now gonna pay more. But I think what would happen is that if it's $1 a bag, and now you've got 5 extra bags per week, now now it would just become more cost effective for them to go to a
There
private hauler.
is a certain number where you
Yeah.
move, but I was surprised. Townsend just went to 350. That's the most I've had to go to a curbside program, and I was really surprised.
350 what? I'm
A
sorry.
bag, a
Oh,
large bag,
350 a bag, okay.
and it was. We were in a time crunch. We had to. They voted it in September because the
But that's
budget.
curbside, so
That
they're
is
they're
curbside.
literally just
Oh,
charging
okay.
$3.50 a bag, curbside,
Two
that's
Street.
their only.
And it's picked
Yeah,
up.
That's
and,
their
and a
only
little
charge.
tax, yeah.
Right.
But I think you guys right now, the cost that you have, and because you have some revenue coming in, it could be like $1.50. I mean, $1.50 could possibly be. And then it's playing around with how much you want your sticker fee to be. Do you
Well,
want
right,
to try to
that's
get
what-
it down to 20? Then maybe we'll make it $1 and $2.
Right.
If you want to make it $75 and everybody pays one price.
Yeah.
So that's what you do is the seniors would pay one price. Everybody would pay one price. And then you'd be like, okay, but if you only need 50 cents, you only have the one grocery bag, then you're paying 50
A little
cents.
white bag, right?
Yeah.
'Cause some of them, like I say, some come in one white bag for a week.
Yeah, I mean,
you
I
know,
guess the
and others
question
come
is
in-
our senior price because they're seniors, or is our senior price because they use less trash?
Well, I think it's been a cycle.
It was
it's
kind of, it was both.
Yeah,
That was the
yeah,
premise
there you go.
that I brought it in on, is I saw those little old ladies.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the only.
So I wonder if we just say a straight up 50% reduction in the sticker price and come up with a price per bag.
Well,
If
just-
we're gonna do this.
Just keep in mind, we still have to buy the same amount of stickers, we still need the receipt books, we still need the man hours
Right.
for all of that. So we still have all of that cost too.
Right.
We need to.
Plus, we have to buy the bags, right?
I know we have that information, probably need to consolidate it in terms of what our current operation is costing us in, I'll call it hardware, stickers and
Yep.
so forth,
Okay.
so that we have
Right.
that number.
Right.
And we're not gonna decide this today.
No,
No,
by no means.
no, this is
was
number
just
one.
great.
This is-
Yeah,
This is
exactly.
options.
Great information.
So I'm gonna you get a whole bunch of things. I'm gonna email you back, and then just the options.
You're
And
the voice of reason, Sue.
Pay
You sure you're leaving?
You're the
I
voice
know.
of reason.
That's why I've
scaring
been
me.
talking to you.
So that you can be the voice.
Yeah, yeah, 'cause that's.
Oh, no, that's bad. There's no hope.
Send the drinking water in town.
And so I'll give you guys some things
nice
of
and
other
sweet.
towns, and we've had some really great workshops
Yeah.
that are just really fun to like listen to of what is pay as you throw, why we have it.
Now, would an informational board of, you said education, would some kind of a display board at the recycling center?
Yeah, we've got that.
You have, I haven't been there in forever.
So Stanley put one up.
Yeah,
with-
but what-
he-
So that's-
What's your,
Yeah.
No, is that
He did
worth a
great.
point?
oh, is that?
Have you
Well,
been-
it's all one point. It's under that one thing. So for education, you have to do what? I
But
think
you
it's
have
like
to, like-
6 items.
Right.
So you have to do
Yes, yeah.
6
Hard
items.
Yeah,
So
we need-
in that would be, you have education at the transfer station. I think you get double dipping when you get stuff on the website. You have
Maybe at the school.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
They're part of the
So you
green
need-
team.
yeah,
So there's a whole bunch of
to
different
get
things.
one.
It might not just necessarily
Which is,
be
you know,
the Board of Health.
it's
Right.
not
It
like
could
one
be
for
other
one.
departments that are doing stuff that you're getting that
Yeah.
credit.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
So if the cultural
make
center
copies
does
for
a
all this
shredding
stuff, yeah.
event and then they post it on the
Yeah.
paper,
DPW does all the plowing down there and all, like, you know,
That's what
maintenance, which, you know, I don't know if that gives us any, extra, but,
Probably, no.
Stanley does most of the maintenance. but-
no.
No, that doesn't count.
But that just is
Doesn't
great
count.
for collaboration. What I was kind of saying is I'm glad that you work closely with your DPW and they do help you.
Oh, yeah.
Because
Oh.
I've had other towns
Oh,
that
DPW
just
is
kind
great.
of
Oh,
be
really?
like, this
Knock
is
heads.
mine,
Oh,
this is
No,
yours,
no.
I don't go.
We're
and I-
fortunate.
We are.
So
Yeah.
I feel so bad when I have those towns that are like,
Too small.
Yeah.
well, I have North
Two
Brookfield is the
different-
same way, very small community, and the
Yes.
Board of Health, Board of DPW is like, I'm not going over there.
Wow.
Being like, I'd have the town administrator be like, you work for me.
Yeah,
Right,
our-
right.
Our DPW
See,
is
that's-
awesome.
Yeah.
I think, I've been in town quite a while, and it's part of the flavor of Berlin, the community spirit to
Yeah.
different boards working together. It's not true with
Not
all
across the
boards.
board, but
It's not across the board, but
Right.
Pun intended.
highway has always been very receptive.
Terrific to us, yeah.
And that's where this is not just a one vote or something like that. It is like, get the word out. We
Yeah,
do
I
different
mean, do you find
things,
that
and
they
then
ever
you say,
they're
hey,
trying thinking about
you know,
this,
we
they
can get
put it
more,
out at town
and we
meeting
can
or-
always want to reduce. You don't have to go to town meeting. The one thing is the Board of Health has control over the pricing of the transfer
I haven't.
station.
Right, okay.
Yeah,
So you can
do.
decide how the how the bill the bill is
Right.
going to be
I just
cut,
mean
how the
educational,
revenue
or
is.
how to introduce.
But
it.
yes, you would have at least a couple public hearings for any of that, and
Yep.
you'd want different board people
Okay,
from the
not
transfer
clear.
station to come in and give their voice, their opinions, and be like, hey, can we do this? Can we add organics first? Let's reduce that if that works, and we can keep our price at $200. You know?
So we go through the list and see
Yeah.
what
Oh,
we.
we just did. We did that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And I'm here to help, and I'll email you the different things. I think the next thing is the hauler regulation. So
Yeah,
if we can
yeah.
get that done,
I think so,
I have a
yeah.
copy of that.
as best
So
we
do
can,
we
but
have
they.
to put
they
that on
should-
the
Well, are
website?
you sure
You
you
have
have
to
the
approve it.
Should be a
regulations she's
fee.
talking about?
The hauler yeah, it's the DEP ones, right? Hauler
Yeah.
regulation, yeah.
so I'll show you. It needs to be
If-
highlighted for the different.
Yeah,
for
if
the
you
grant.
wanna email that over, 'cause
Mhm.
we
That's number one.
we
Just
mailed
us
that out. and-
Paving the transfer station. brought in a lot more people, even more women, because, geez, it's not a dusty mess down here. And we did that, you know, I don't know, probably 10 years ago now, but
Turn it off.
first it was like, oh, we can't do, paved it,
And I'll make
and it
copies.
changed a lot of, got a lot.
Yeah.
We got more stickers
It's
coming.
not like going to the dump. I think that's.
Do we, is there anything?
I think I addressed everything. I
It
think-
seems that way.
Yeah.
Any last questions or comments? Irene, we thank you for
Yes,
coming.
thank you,
No
Irene.
problem.
Yes.
That's
Definitely.
all right. About being.
It's a start.
It is.
There's
It's
a
of
lot
information.
to, lot to grasp
And I
and
didn't even
fathom.
bring up the other thing is that we do have the other grant, and so I talked about the RDP grant. There is an actual pay-as-you-throw grant, and so that gives you $10 per household that participates. So that's a one-time.
I just have one more quick question, and
Yeah.
then I will be quiet. The trial, is there a trial program where you could actually roll it out and test it to see if
I have
it's good or not?
165 communities that have this, and there's countries that require it. You know, all of Ireland, all of Korea.
That's not what I meant, I'm
But
sorry.
I'm like, it's
It's
not.
a culture shock, it's gonna be a culture
It
change.
is, yeah.
So I don't know
Um,
if you've had people that have did a soft rollout to see if there was even,
No, I want to
I
say
can
that.
see a lot of problems with that. 'cause
Yeah, it's an
you'd
all or
be
nothing.
going into first gear,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden you're
You get
pulling
the
it back.
pushback, yeah.
If,
And
if,
also
if
because
a
they
change is
regularly have
made,
people using it,
if a
abusing
change is made, the
transportation.
change has to be made,
Yeah.
Full
and
force.
we deal with, you know,
The
some of the
complaints.
pushback early on,
And
but
usually
it
right-
all,
the fifth-
it'll evolve and
So the town of
quiet
West
down.
Boylston, I think, was the hardest out of all. I have 75 communities. They have had the most amount of trash per household. Unbelievable.
Boylston,
Sorry, not West Boylston.
Oh.
Westboro.
West.
Westboro's
Yep.
transfer station, because they're at Harvey's.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
they said they've had 3,000 households go there, and they would have over, at one point, 3,000 pounds per household, a ton and a half of trash per household per year. And I'm like, where are you getting this? I don't even know how you make it
Maybe it's all
versus
takeout.
putting
No,
it in your house.
Every
to
dumping
bring-
commercial in there, so
Yeah.
I don't know.
Are
It
they
was-
mixing up their numbers or?
So when we talked about it, we kept on going down and down and down, and they just went July, and it's just unbelievable. Of like they're 60% waste reduction already, but it's just they just went, and there was a few people that were most people like this makes sense. I'm just changing the color of the bag. You know, I'm still buying the bag, and I'm paying a little more, but I'm reducing. I'm not paying the fee, the flat fee, so I'm just moving the thing to the bag. So I still am paying the bill, but I'm paying it as I'm using it versus a flat fee. And so they just had a couple retired cops there because they had 3,000 people coming in. You know, it's a bigger group. And they're just, a few people had questions, but they're like, no, we're going to follow the rules. Everybody's in the bag. So it went really easy. Like, I normally say a month before and a month after, just to have a little more guidance. And you can use the grant money to have an extra person just to
Yeah,
answer
I mean,
questions
okay,
or something
yeah.
like that. But it was, it goes smooth. And I think the video was just awesome. Like their little video.
embedded on the website.
Yeah. So you can just go to the video
Yeah.
and watch it, and then they
Yeah.
put it on social media and be like, "This is our new program.
Yeah.
Starts
I mean,
July 1st."
It's surprising,
that's
there's waste
Just
stream
go to
data
the
out
famous
there
actor
that
stand.
says the average person in a household generates anywhere from 3 to 5 pounds of trash per day.
Right.
You know, that's including recycling. That's the whole ball of wax, and that's what these programs are trying to separate out and reduce.
Correct.
But if you think about it, 3 to 5 pounds, that's a lot.
Keeps on
But
adding up.
everything, you know, the grocery store is packaged. I mean, you know,
Your pizza
Sure.
box, I mean, it all.
We can recycle pizza, and that's one of the things.
Yes.
Is
Well,
it
we
does say
do.
pizza boxes
We do.
need to keep on being on the education forms.
On the cardboard, they don't want the
No, they
greasy
do.
pizza.
Now they do.
They do. They do.
2018,
They have
they
been for a
switched.
while.
Good,
Yeah.
that's good to hear.
So what happened was,
I started Ross.
Yeah.
on a policy,
Is it huge, you know?
yeah,
People would
it-
start
People
burning
would
before
turn to burn barrels.
2018,
Adjourn the
we
meeting.
had a certain amount that would go to China.
We run
All
it.
right,
Right.
And
we
that
need
changed.
to officially wrap this up.
So imagine a pizza box going
We've
around.
got
on a
staff
boat.
being, recording all
The
this,
smell of
so.
the mold.
Okay.
Okay, so
I hear
A
you.
month
We
and a half
are,
trip.
do I hear a motion to adjourn, please?
I'll make a motion to adjourn this meeting.
I would second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.